to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Stegman Coliseum. Kevin Kopp alongside Katie Brazil welcoming you to the home portion of the 2014 season for the Georgia Gym Dogs, and what an introduction it was. We've been on the road last week, halfway across the country in Norman, Oklahoma, and the other half of the way across the country in Stanford, California, and everyone says it, but you kind of forget until you get back inside this building. There is nothing like Stegman Coliseum for a gymnastics meet, and boy, are we ready to get underway with the 2014 home opener and SEC opener for the Georgia Gym Dogs.
Oh my gosh, Stegman Coliseum, if y'all aren't here right now, it is packed. Everybody's rowdy, they're loud. We're ready to get started. I know I'm ready. We've
got fans in the last row of seats, so that feels like a sellout to me.
Yes, it does.
More importantly than anything else, we were competing at a couple of schools, one of whom Oklahoma was still on their winter break, and the other of whom Stanford. You didn't have seats right on the floor. We've got the Gym Dog Pound, the unofficial name for the student section there, right on the edge of floor exercise. They have been here, they have been loud, and they are definitely ready to go. And it is just an environment unlike any other. On this, a night where you've got two of the top 10 teams in the country, including the #2 team in the nation after 2 weeks this season, the LSU Tigers, a 197-2 in their season opener at home against Centenary. That shattered by more than a full point the highest ever opening score for the LSU Tigers. It was a low 196, so they came out of the gate swinging. Georgia didn't have quite that level of success, but two very important road scores competing in tough places away from Stegman Coliseum. 196-5 on opening night against Oklahoma, and then a 196-150 at Stanford. The Gym Dogs are 0-2, but the score is good enough to have them ranked #9 in the country, and it should be a knockdown drag-out tonight between two of the SEC's best.
That is literally the best way you can describe it. I mean, Georgia got awesome road scores to start out the season. LSU is a good team, but guess what? So is Georgia. I mean, we've got history here. We've got girls with so much talent. It's unbelievable. And so it is going to be a showdown tonight. And I'm still going for red and black. So.
And certainly, you know, scoring tends to be higher at home. That's a fact of this sport for reasons which, you know, you can argue about until you're blue in the face. But one thing that we have seen throughout history, through your 4 years as a Georgia Gym Dog, and throughout the entirety of this sport, is just you cannot help but compete better in an environment like this here at home. And I think it was a very valuable experience for Georgia's 6 freshmen, 4 of whom competed at least on exhibition in the first 2 meets, to get to see what it's like to be elsewhere, because you don't always have the luxury of competing here at home. And Georgia, if they hope to raise an 11th national championship banner, will have to do some of that heavy lifting away from Stegman Coliseum. But there is no doubt that this has been a team that competes better here at home. The scores do reflect that, and sometimes, you know, people want to get into why the scores are what they are at home, but sometimes it's quite simply this is a team that can excel in an environment like this when you have 9,500 fans, close to 10,000 fans inside this building. And I will be very curious to see how much the adrenaline is under control, because I think we're kind of back to a situation like we talked about in Norman, Oklahoma for the first meet of the season. I think we saw some jitters, especially from those freshmen. This is, in its own way, this is a new experience for those freshmen, competing in front of a crowd like this for the first time, and I think it would be very easy, as you know from competing here, to let your adrenaline actually start to hurt you a little bit. You've kind of got to get those emotions in check.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting up above watching this right now, and I've got so much adrenaline, I just want to run on the floor right now.
You could probably still do that and do pretty darn well, I would think.
I don't know if I should. But no, there's nothing like this Stegman Coliseum packed with Georgia fans. I mean, it is the greatest feeling to be down there on the floor and to look up in the stands and make eye contact with somebody, and they just give you that big smile, and they're reassuring, and they know that you got in the bag. And I know what these girls are feeling right now, and I'm just so excited for them, especially the freshmen, because they got to run out of that tunnel, and I still remember the very first time I ran out in this Coliseum, and I will never forget that. It is one of the greatest things I've ever experienced in my life. And so I hope their adrenaline is pumping and they're ready to go. You can tell.
Well, this is an emotional night as well. It is the return to Stegman Coliseum of longtime assistant coach, associate head coach, and head coach Jay Clark. These teams did see each other 5 times last year, so a lot of that initial emotion is out of the way, but there is some intertwined history between these two programs now. He is in his 2nd year as assistant coach and associate head coach at Louisiana State. Dana Durrani in her 2nd year as head coach for the University of Georgia. So it's a big moment, and I think once that first vault, once Chelsea Davis is going down the runway, you stop thinking about it a little bit, but certainly it's something that was on a lot of gymnasts, coaches, fans, staff, everybody else's mind during the pre-meet warm-up, and then once you get to competing, you kind of start to block all that out a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, I was a freshman when Jay took over as head coach here, and I absolutely adore him. He's an incredible coach, an incredible man who cares about his girls, and obviously he's doing a great job at LSU because, I mean, his team is succeeding. They're doing so well. They're so put together. Obviously, they're number 2 in the nation right now, and that says a lot, especially having him come in and them just flying up in the ranks. I mean, they're doing awesome. I know they love him, too.
There's no doubt about that, an immediate impact. And then you look at, obviously, you have had the privilege of competing under both of these coaches, Dana Durrani, the head coach last year, your senior season in 2013, and enjoying tremendous success as well, making the Super 6 for the first time since 2009, beating Alabama and Utah here at home for the first time since 2009. And so it's contributions being made on both sides. These are both programs, I think, that are in ascendancy now here in 2013 and 2014. And I think we could look at a situation just like last year where both of these teams end up in the Super 6 yet again.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I expect Georgia to be in the Super 6 again. We're that good of a team. We've got that much talent. And from what I've seen from LSU so far this season, I have a real good feeling that they're going to be back there too.
You can look at the Georgia vault lineup as the countdown clock here is running out on our touch warm-ups. Chelsea Davis, the junior, is back in that leadoff spot. She flipped spots with Ashlyn Broussard. The freshman had led off in the first 2 meets of the season. Ashlyn Broussard drops to 2nd, and so this will be the home crowd's first chance to see that freshman. Kat Hires, the senior, will be 3rd. Brandy J, a sophomore, 4th. Lindsay Cheek, a senior, will be 5th. And the vault anchor is Brittany Rogers. The sophomore will be 6th. Lauren Johnson, the freshman there, is an alternate. She did exhibition in both of Georgia's first 2 road meets. We may see an exhibition vault from her tonight. The LSU lineup on bars: Jessica Savona leading off. Kaylee Dixon will be 2nd. Jessie Jordan will be 3rd. Brittany Rancy 4th. Reagan Corville, who is currently 1st in the nation in the all-around, she will be 5th. And Sari Morrison will be 6th. LSU 1-0 with a score of 197-2. Georgia, the number 9 team in the nation, backed by 10,000 fans here in their home opener at Stegman Coliseum. What a great one we have in store tonight. And Chelsea Davis back in that familiar leadoff spot. The junior down the runway approaches the table. Yurchenko layout full. And what a vault for Chelsea Davis, and what a way to start things off tonight.
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. I swear, she is the most consistent vaulter I have ever seen in my life.
It's good having her back in that leadoff spot too. As we get a look at the replay here, just maybe popped up on her toes a little bit on that landing. You could see her heels come up a little bit, but great height, great distance, and that should be very well rewarded to start off the night.
Just what we expect.
Now on bars, leading off for LSU, Jessica Savona.
A little short on that first cast handstand. Overshoot, good. Back up to the high bar. Kip cast handstand, looked good. 360. Small little Tkachev, but she got it. She's still on the bar. 2 giants and a double layout. She took a little hot, but overall pretty solid routine to start off for LSU.
Fine way to begin for the Tigers. And how about this for Georgia? Kicking off with a 9-9 for Chelsea Davis. And, you know, you like getting that early score because it gives you a chance to really build and start seeing some 9-9 plus scores if everyone else can execute 2 through 6.
Oh, that's how we do it at Georgia.
They're trying to build off of that momentum. Ashlyn Broussard, the freshman, with her first vault in Stegman Coliseum. Yurchenko layout full.
Nicely done.
Small hop hop back on the landing, and what you can see there is just the amount of distance that she gets, and she was so powerful at Oklahoma. It was a wild landing, and she took about a step and a half, but she does get a lot of power coming off the tables. We'll take a look at the replay here. What do you see?
And she controlled that landing a whole lot more. She got a great pop off the table. Obviously, this girl, she's got some of the greatest form I've ever seen. Looks beautiful in the air. Just that little hop on the landing, and she's good.
It'll be a 9-8 from one judge, 9-8 from the other, so 9-8 for Ashlyn Broussard. So Georgia with a 9-9 and a 9-8 to start. Jessica Savona leading off for LSU with a 9-8 on bars. So both teams right where they want to be, just a couple of routines in. And up second for LSU on the bars will be Kaylee Dixon.
Mounting the high bar, starting her routine off. Kip cast handstand, front giant, big Jaeger, small little form deductions. Oh, stopped after a kip. Overshoot, little short from the handstand, back up to the high bar. Kip cast handstand, look good. Going for her dismount, 2 giants. Full out, oh, little bobble on the landing, but solid routine as well. She had a few little form breaks that are gonna show in her score, but pretty good routine.
Kat Hires, the senior, getting a big ovation here from the crowd. She gets the distinction of being the last person introduced in those warm-ups, and crowd rose in volume to greet the senior. Kat's had a fine start on vault, her 3rd of the year down the runway. Yurchenko layout full. Big vault, little hop back on the landing.
Huge. Kat is another one of those awesomely consistent vaulters, just like Chelsea. I mean, she practices and she competes exactly like she does that in practice, and that's just what we saw here tonight.
She had a great start last season, lost her way for a little bit in the midpoint of the year before really closing the season strong, and I think she has a chance to pick up right where she left off. She looks very good through 3 meets. The score for Kaylee Dixon, a 9.525, and that will be what LSU hopes to drop here from their bars rotation. Georgia, 9.85 for Kat Hires. So Georgia with a 9.85 average. They've got a 9.9, a 9.8, and a 9.85. And it's time now, 3rd on bars for LSU, Jessie Jordan.
Mounting the high bar, kip on the low bar, jump up. Kip cast handstand, look good. Blind change. Big, beautiful Jaeger. Kip cast right in the handstand. She really got that overshoot, handstand good. Toe snap back up to high bar. Kip cast handstand, going for her dismount. 2 giants. Big double out and a stuck landing.
That's a beautiful routine.
Was a great routine.
And you know, a great response too. Not quite like after a fall on beam, but you see a 9.525, you know that, you know, everyone is going to count from here on out. And boy, she stood up and delivered right there. Great routine from Jessie Jordan.
Oh, she really picked it up. Very well done.
Brandy J for Georgia. Gym Dogs looking excellent on vault, and really they've been so good on vault and bars to start the season. Brandy down the runway. Yurchenko layout full. Big vault. Again,
oh, that girl can vault.
Little hop back on the landing.
It's huge. I mean, just watching from here, that is massive for such a little person running down that runway.
And of course, like Brittany Rogers, Brandy J has the ability to do the 1.5 twisting Yurchenko layout, and so she's got that ability. And so you think if you go from a 1.5 down to a full, you want to see it be that big. You think you should have room to spare on the landing, and she certainly did.
Oh yeah, I know we'll see that 1.5 come out later in the season as well. I've seen her practice it, I've seen her nail it. It looks good, and it's definitely going to come out.
Yeah, she stuck one cold in practice just a few days ago, but still going with that full for right now. Biggest score of the night for LSU, a 9.875 from Jessie Jordan, and up 4th, this is Brittany Ramsey.
Good first kip cast handstand. Overshoot, good. Toe snap back up to the high bar. You can just tell she's a powerful bar swinger, especially by that huge Tkachev. Little arch on that handstand. It's going to be a deduction. 2 giants. Big double layout. Oh, almost stuck. Held that one on by her toes. Looked like she hopped just a little bit.
Another 9.85 for Georgia, courtesy of Brandy J. Back-to-back 9.85s from Hires and J. The Georgia in great shape here, and they've got some big-time vaulters to close out their lineup. Lindsey Cheek and Brittany Rogers. Lindsey Cheek, the Athens native, one of two on the Georgia roster competing tonight. Lindsey Yurchenko layout full.
Oh, so close to being stuck.
Still a great vault for Lindsey. Of course, great height, great distance, and really just kept a good line all the way through it. Did step back with her right foot, so she'll get dinged a little bit there, but excellent vault overall.
Just, it looked flawless. The only thing is that landing, that small little step.
Yeah, you can see her feet come apart a little bit. She was a little off center and just kind of stuck that one foot out to the right, but overall, that should score in line with what we've seen from Georgia so far. 9.75 from Brittany Ramsey. Corville and Morrison left. Reagan Corville currently ranked first in the nation in the all-around after the first 2 weeks of the year.
Mount onto high bar. Huge Jaeger. Kip cast handstand, looks good. Right and vertical, overshoot. Toe snap back up to the high bar. Second half of the routine. Going for her dismounts. One giant and half in, half out, stuck. Wow, you know her team's excited for that.
Absolutely. She is one of the best in the nation and is off to a fine start in her night in the all-around. Lindsey Cheek with a 9.9 on that vault. She got a 9.95 from one judge and a 9.85 from another. Evens out to probably where it should be. A good 9.9 for the senior. Georgia already with a 49.3 on vault. Brittany Rogers can only help. Yurchenko layout full, small hop back on the landing. Another good one, and Georgia has got to be very proud of what they did on vault.
Oh, that was a huge vault rotation. I mean, this is definitely a vaulting team. We've struggled some years in the past with vault, but this year they've got really powerful girls who know how to do their Yurchenko fulls, and they know how to do them well.
Yeah, you know, it's tough sometimes. I know fans probably want to see more than just 6 Yurchenko fulls down the runway, but you know, you got to start somewhere, and Georgia may throw those 1.5s by the end of the year, but when you can execute like that, there's not a lot of incentive to change. Now finishing up for LSU, this is Sari Morrison on bars.
Great Jaeger. Hip cast handstand right on top. Great overshoot. Toe snap back up to the high bar. Great cast handstand. Going for her dismount. 2 giants. Half in, half out. Oh! Stuck landing. She kind of sold that with the judges. Kind of falling back and saluting at the same time.
Veteran gymnast like that knows the tricks, and she is, there's so much firepower for LSU at the end of their bars lineup too with Corville and Morrison. They've got some terrific gymnasts, and it looks like we will have an exhibition vault from Lauren Johnson. She has looked good in her 2 exhibitions, getting some valuable experience on the road. And so even though it doesn't count toward the score, this has still got to be a thrilling moment for her. Got the crowd clapping along, and she'll be ready to go here in a moment. We'll get to the final scores before we take our first break of the night. We've got a 9.875 for Sari Morrison. Corville had a 9.9, by the way, late catching up to that one. And a very good 49.2 for LSU to start off in their first rotation. Here is Lauren Johnson in exhibition for Georgia. Yurchenko layout full. Big step back on the landing, but again, she's got a lot of power, and it's just a matter of learning to harness that and clean it up a little bit. Oh, yeah. All she really needed to do was control that vault a little bit. Obviously, this girl has got a lot of power, and once she gets that under control and she can stick that landing, oh, she's going to be deadly. Georgia will have a lead of just under 2/10 at the end of one rotation, but both teams are in great shape after 1/4 of the meet. It is a 49.375 for Georgia, their highest vault score so far in 2014, and a 49.2 for LSU on bars. And so both teams in good shape right now, and still a lot of gymnastics left to happen here. Rotation number 2, Georgia will be heading to bars. LSU will head to vault. And in between rotations, we're going to take a look at at some videos that you can see on GeorgiaDogs.com, and we're going to start by taking a look back at the first 2 meets of the Georgia season. And first, the season opener in Oklahoma. We'll take a look at the highlights from that 2014 season opener, a 196.5 for Georgia, and we'll come back to Stegman Coliseum for rotation number 2. You're watching live video coverage of Georgia Gymnastics on GeorgiaDogs.com from IMG. And the first career routine now for Georgia freshman Kiera Brown. Her first handstand perfect on top of the high bar. Huge Tkachev. Kip cast handstand looks good. Pack salto. Handstand and half pirouette on the low bar. Back up to the high bar now. Final handstand is a good one. 2 giants. Full out and sticks the landing. How about that for her first routine as a gym dog? Lindsey Cheek, first routine of her senior season. First handstand is excellent on top of the high bar. Toe on, toe off handstand is good. Giant Tkachev as always for Lindsey. Another good handstand. Shoot over to handstand, very well done. Circles around, back up to the high bar. Cast handstand. 2 giants. Double layout, stock landing for Lindsey Cheek. As Chelsea Davis, who spent 7 weeks last year ranked #1 in the nation on bars, gets the first routine of her season. Great first handstand, beautiful Tkachev. Second handstand just locked on top of the bar. Toe on, toe off handstand is beautiful. Shoot over to handstand right on top. Uphill back to the high bar. Kip cast handstand. 2 giants. And a new dismount for Chelsea, double layout, and sticks it. Great bars routine. Brandy J approaches the table. Yurchenko layout full, and a great one there for Brandy J.
She's really been working on that, those feet on the landing and really controlling that, and she did a good job with that.
Lindsey Cheek up 5th for Georgia, the senior. Yurchenko layout full, huge vault. Just a tiny hop back, but excellent job by Lindsey Cheek. Kaylin now ready to go with that 1,000-watt smile in her first pass. Front handspring Rudy into an immediate back handspring layout step out. And she is off to the races. Round off back handspring double pike. Nearly planted that thing dead. Very good second pass. As Kaylin gets ready for her final pass, closing with a double tuck, and again, nearly sticks that one dead. Beautiful start for Kaylin Earls, great tumbling, and a very fun first routine for the Gym Dogs.
I definitely think it was a very good start to the 2014 season. You got to think about it. We're a very young team, and the only way you get better is with experience. And so we get another opportunity Sunday, and I think that's just going to help boost our confidence even more going into the rest of the part of the season. So I'm pretty excited. I think we did pretty well, especially our freshmen. They did incredible tonight, especially being their first meet. A couple of them did multiple events, so I was really proud of them and the way they handled the pressure, because it's college gymnastics, and that was their first time experiencing that, so I was pretty proud of them.
It was really great. It was great to go out there with my team and just put forth our best effort. It was really fun. I was just excited to be able to compete, and I just took it one step at a time and did my best. Just keeping each other encouraged and just really just keeping focused, not losing focus of having to go back and do another meet. Staying confident like we always do.
Really proud of the team. We told them that. I mean, obviously you want to come away with the win, but there were a great deal of positives and a lot of partial success, right? They competed well. We were nervous, no question. I mean, you could see it on their faces. They were trying to relax, trying to trust their training, and they were able to do that to some degree, but not completely and fully. But I'm proud of them. They fought all the way through. They worked very hard. We had one little mistake in Kaylin Earls, which is a rarity, you know, and that will make her sharper for sure. So really pleased with the way we performed tonight. That's what we told the team as well, that you get an immediate opportunity to make those adjustments and be better. And I think, just like you said, we had a lot of freshmen compete. We had even, you know, Mary Beth Box is not a freshman, but she competed. There were others that had competed. Brittany Rogers competed floor, and she had very few of those routines under her belt last year. Kat Hires competed floor, very few of those under her belt last year. So even the older athletes that had competed just a few times showed well tonight, and we are excited about having another opportunity at Stanford.
Kiara Brown, first handstand, very good. Clear hip. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Kopp, Katie Brazil with you here on GeorgiaDogs.com. Want to thank you so much for joining us on this Friday night in Stegman Coliseum. Where else would you be, though? Georgia and LSU, one of the most anticipated meets of the 2014 season. We get it here in the second week of the calendar year. Georgia there, you just got to see the highlights and some interviews following that season opening loss to Oklahoma. Tough one for Georgia, but an excellent score, a 196.5 on the road. Oklahoma scored a 197.7, which actually puts them at number 1 in the nation. So here in the second week of the season, Katie, Georgia's already seen the number 1 and now the number 2 teams in the country. So fair to say that the regular season preparing Georgia for a potential postseason.
Oh, absolutely. Georgia by far has got one of the hardest schedules in the season, if not the hardest, frankly. I've looked at it, and I was just in shock the first time I saw it.
It was ranked number 2 by the people that do this sort of thing, ranked the second hardest schedule in the nation. The only team with a harder schedule than Georgia was Kentucky, and part of that is probably that Kentucky has to play Georgia. So,
yeah, exactly. But
you know, if you're in the SEC, you got to compete against Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Arkansas, LSU, all in the top 10. So 5 of the top 10 from the SEC, and then the teams on the outside of the top 10. Auburn can beat you, Kentucky can beat you, Missouri is making some strides. They had a difficult season last year, but it is a conference that is somehow has always been among the best, if not the best, in college gymnastics, and seems to only be getting better every year.
Absolutely. Even though we do have a hard schedule, I mean, it is such great experience to go up against those top 10 teams. I mean, if you spend your whole season going against lower-ranked teams, you're not going to get that experience and that atmosphere that you have in postseason. So I think it's great for the team. It's great for the girls, especially having such a young team with so many freshmen. They need the experience, and it is really going to pay off come postseason.
49.375 for Georgia, highest vault score of 2014 to start rotation number 1. For LSU, a 49.2. That is their highest bar score of the season as well. So both teams in great shape after one rotation. The starting lineup for Georgia on bars: Brandy J will be leading off, Kat Hires will be second, Kiara Brown third, Lindsay Cheek fourth, Brittany Rogers fifth, and Chelsea Davis sixth. On vault for LSU, Kaylee Dixon will be up first, Jessie Jordan second, Brittany Ramsey third, Ashley Natt will be fourth, Sari Morrison fifth, and Reagan Corville will be sixth. And fair to say that LSU excels at the power events. Vault and floor are where they're going to make their money, so to speak. So be very curious to see if LSU can eclipse that Georgia lead right now.
Running down the runway for her first vault. Great height. Little pike chest on the landing. Little hot, but overall great start-off vault for LSU.
I think after one rotation, you can see the scores are there to be had on vault. If you have a big vault, even with the slight landing, you could be looking at 9.9 range, and I think that should be close, if not quite there. Brandy J getting ready to go here for Georgia in the leadoff spot on bars. Brandy with 2 9.775s so far this season. Boy, big separation on the vault scores. They were just a 9.8 and a 9.9, so a 9.85 to start. Brandy on the low bar. First handstand is good. Shaposhnikova up to the high bar. Shoot over to handstand looks good. Circles around up to the high bar. Kip cast handstand looks all the way up. Blind change into her Shushanova. Maybe a touch short on that last handstand. 2 giants, 1 giant, full out.
Oh, yeah!
She hung on to it. She hung on to it, and she is thrilled with that one. Big celebration for Brandy J.
It always amazes me that she's our leadoff. I mean, she is so consistent, but if she was later in that lineup, she would go 9.95s every time.
Well, look at what happened to Lindsay Cheek. She was in that leadoff spot for so long. She moves down now. She's fourth in the bars lineup, and she's got 2 9.9s to start the season, so a lot of that does matter. Jessie Jordan up second.
Going down the runway. Big Yurchenko full. Hop on the landing. Overall good. LSU starting off really strong on vault.
And again, a 9.85 from Kaylee Dixon was the opening score. LSU was above a 49.4 in their season opening meet against Centenary. 49.425 on vault and a 49.4 on floor. So again, those are the big events for LSU. Georgia off to a fine start. Brandy J with a 9.875 on bars, her season high.
I am so excited to watch Kat Hires on bars. Y'all have no idea how hard she has been working to get on this event. Oh my gosh, it hasn't always been her favorite, but she has really dedicated herself this year, and I'm so excited it's paying off for her.
I've seen enough season gymnastics and otherwise with the sports here at Georgia. You see some seniors who kind of have nice first 3 years who just absolutely tear it up in their senior season, and we're seeing it from Kat Hires and from Lindsay Cheek as well, and Kaylin Earls. These are 3 seniors, as you see a beautiful pike Jaeger from Kat Hires, a little bit over on that second handstand. Shoot over to handstand, just a little off, but really fighting hard to get that to vertical and continue on here. Back up to the high bar. Kip cast handstand, that one looks good. 2 giants. Double layout, and a step back on the landing for Kat Hires.
Great routine for Kat overall.
I think we'll see better from her in 2014 for sure, but again, just getting in that lineup, getting some familiarity with competing week in, week out on bars is so valuable, and I'm with you. Just love seeing her in that lineup, and I think we'll see more of her this season. Jessie Jordan scored a 9.825 after the 9.85 from Kaylee Dixon. Up third, Brittany Ramsey.
Yurchenko full stuck landing for LSU.
That's going to be a big one right there. Very nicely done.
They're happy. She runs down to cheer on her teammates.
Kiera Brown getting ready to go third here for Georgia on bars, and I'll tell you what, a lot of folks are going to be dazzled by Kiera Brown getting to see her for the first time. It is a 9.8 for Kat Hires, and again, just that one break in there was really the big deduction.
Kiera has got quite the bar routine, as y'all will see. This girl has got power. She can swing like nobody else. She's got a great combination. Maybe we'll see tonight, but this girl is definitely one to look out for on bars.
She's got a 9.825 and a 9.85 under her belt so far. See what she can do here at home in her first bars routine in Stegman Coliseum. Her first handstand dead on top of the high bar, clear hip. Big Tkachev.
Huge.
Second handstand just locked there on top of the bar. Big pack salto. Handstand, half pirouette.
A great bar swinger.
Back up to the high bar now. Final handstand looks good. 2 giants. Full out.
Oh, I wanted to stick it.
Step back on the landing, but again, a good routine. Maybe just a little bit rushed there through that handstand half pirouette on the low bar, and of course the step on the landing, but that should be in keeping with her first 2 scores of the year, and you think it's only going to get better from there for the freshman.
Oh yeah, you know how much adrenaline she has right now, and so that routine, like you said, it is just going to get better throughout the season.
Brittany Ramsey, the highest vault score of the night so far for LSU, 9.875. Here is Ashley Nat.
Huge Yurchenko 1.5, small hop on the end, but that was a big vault for LSU. First 1.5 of the night as well.
I'm sure the judges are probably a little happy after seeing 9 fulls. They get to see a 1.5, and we'll see if it gets rewarded in kind. Score for Kiera Brown on bars, a 9.8. Lindsay Cheek, Brittany Rogers, and Chelsea Davis, your final 3 on bars for Georgia, and it is a 9.9, the first of the night for LSU on vault for Ashley Nat. Good work by the freshman. Lindsay Cheek mounts the high bar. First handstand, it's good. Toe on, toe off handstand. Just an enormous Tkachev, as always. Another good handstand for Lindsay. Shoot over to handstand is perfect. Circles around, back up to the high bar. Kip cast handstand. 2 giants. Double layout. Stuck landing for Lindsay Cheek.
Wow.
And that'll be the first big roar of the night from this Stegman Coliseum crowd as the hometown girl plants one.
Oh, that was good. So great. Oh, I've got got to give credit where credit is due, and Lindsay Cheek is just a stunning gymnast. She has continued to grow through her 4 years here, and she is really coming out in her senior year, and I am so proud.
Back over to vault now, Sari Morrison.
Yurchenko full, another stuck landing.
She had the first perfect 10 of the year, I want to say. If it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago on vault. 9.925 for Lindsay Cheek. I want to get back to Lindsay Cheek really quick. Entering tonight on vault and bar, she was 4 for 4 on 9.9s. She had a 9.9 vault, and she broke her streak, but she did it with a 9.925. So she is 6 for 6 in 2014. Every vault and bars routine, 9.9 or better for the senior. Unbelievable.
That is just a huge testament to her work ethic and practice, because this gymnast, she competes like how she practices, and everything you see in the competitions is exactly what she does in the gym every single day.
And a 9.925 for Sari Morrison. We mentioned two heavyweight teams slugging it out. Here you go. Up on bars now, Brittany Rogers. First handstand is a good one. Stalled her into her Rikna. Just beautiful. Had a little trouble with that last week, and now it's the second handstand that gets her just a little bit over. Shoot over to handstand. Back up to the high bar. Last handstand is good. Giant, full out, stuck landing for Brittany Rogers.
Oh my gosh, we're on a roll.
I'll tell you what I've really been impressed with is Kat Heyer. She was a little over on that handstand, had a little trouble, got it back, finished the routine strong. Brittany Rogers over on her second handstand. Everything else from there on out's clean. You don't let one mistake become two. You limit the deductions, and that's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to turn those 9.8s into 9.85s. You know, that's as valuable sometimes as the big score.
Huge Yurchenko full.
You've got two of the absolute best vaulters in the country in Corville and in Sari Morrison, and they are always going to be good for big scores at the end of the lineup. Speaking of, Brittany Rogers, a 9.9, so the judges didn't see anything else beside that one handstand that came up short.
Brittany is just a beautiful gymnast all around, but her bars are particularly stunning. I mean, they just mesmerize you. You've got to just stop whatever you're doing and you watch Brittany when she goes.
It is a 9.875 for Reagan Corville, and LSU matches their vault score from a week ago with a 49.425. Chelsea Davis finishing up on bars for Georgia. First handstand dead on top of the high bar. Big Tkachev for Chelsea. Second handstand is phenomenal as well. Toe-on, toe-off handstand looks good. Shoot over to handstand. Uphill to the high bar. Final kip cast handstand. It's a good one. Two giants and the new dismount, the double layout.
Oh,
stuck it!
landing!
Chelsea Davis, 3 for 3 in 2014 with 3 stuck landings, plants the double layout and brings a roar to this Stegman Coliseum crowd.
I tell you what, it's a lot of fun being down on the floor, but I like sitting up here and looking from above. Oh, it's exciting.
Both teams are in phenomenal shape at the halfway point. This will be raising a few eyebrows across the country with folks seeing these scores. And we will wait on the score for Chelsea Davis.
We knew this meet was going to be a close one. It really is.
9.975 for Chelsea Davis. She had a 10 for one judge, a 9.95 from another, and this crowd gives the junior a standing ovation, a career high 9.975 for Chelsea Davis.
Absolutely stunning and so well deserved. Frankly, I think she should have gotten a 10, but that may be me being biased, but
oh my goodness, a 9.975. We nearly saw the first perfect 10 in Stegman Coliseum since Grace Taylor. It's been a while. We almost had one right there. And how about this? LSU goes 49.425 on vault, and they actually lose ground. Georgia extends their lead with a season best 49.475 on bars, and Georgia extends their lead now to 2 1/4 tenths. The scores at the midway point, 98-625 for LSU and a 98-850 for Georgia. So both of these teams are on track to shatter their previous season highs, and we're seeing some great gymnastics right now.
Oh, absolutely. Georgia looks particularly awesome right now. The girls look great. They look happy. They're enthused. I can't wait for these last two events because they are our best, and we're about to show it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've made so much, and rightly so, of Georgia coming back here for the first time. This is also LSU's first road meet of the year, and they have not looked intimidated at all. They have executed extremely well. They did what you would expect LSU to do, which was wire vault. They looked unbelievably good, and now, they're in position here on floor, which is arguably their best event, to really make things interesting. And so you got to give a lot of credit. You don't know, being a visiting gymnast, you always got to be on the good side of the cheers here in Stegman Coliseum. It's hard to come in here, and they've done a phenomenal job.
Oh, I can't even imagine being a visitor in here. This is intimidating. I obviously loved it while I was a gym dog, but coming in it as an LSU Tiger, these girls are thinking about this. Wow, there are 10,000 people looking at me right now. And, they are a team of competitors, and so they're going to put up a fight. But, in the end, they're no Georgia gym dogs, so...
We're going to give ourselves a chance to catch our breath after the second rotation, and we are going to take a look at some highlights from last Sunday's meet at Stanford. This was a 196-150 for Georgia, but still some bright spots. So we'll take a look at the highlights and interviews from last Sunday in Stanford and come back for rotation number 3. Georgia heading to beam and LSU to floor. You're watching live video coverage of Georgia Gymnastics on GeorgiaDogs.com from IMG. Yara Brown first handstand, very good. Clear hip to a big Tkachev. Second handstand, excellent. Back salto. Handstand, half pirouette on the low bar. Back up to the high bar. Another good handstand. 2 giants. Full out. And a step forward on the landing, but a very good routine. Again, Lindsay Cheek on the bars for Georgia. First handstand is a good one. Toe on, toe off handstand, perfect. Enormous Tkachev. Another good handstand for Lindsay. Shoot over to handstand, very, very good. Circles around, back up to the high bar. Last handstand looks good. 2 giants. Double layout. Stuck landing. First handstand all the way up. Huge Tkachev. Cast handstand, very good. Toe on, toe off handstand. Shoot over to handstand. Uphill back to the high bar. Last handstand good, right on top. 2 giants. And that new dismount, the double layout, and she's 2 for 2. Sticks another. Great finish to bars for Georgia. Excellent routine for Chelsea Davis.
Lindsay Cheek had an awesome warm-up today, so let's see what she puts out.
The senior down the runway. Yurchenko layout full. Big one. Nice. Great stuck landing. Beautiful vault.
Awesome.
Tuck full. Back handspring layout. Very well done. Front aerial twiddle jump combination. Mary Beth looking very good right now. Round off 1.5. Good landing, great routine for the sophomore Mary Beth Box. And Lindsay has started the day with 2.99s on bars and on vault. Just an enormous switch side. Makes a little bit more sense. Switch leap, straddle quarter. Cat leap, gainer full. Hangs on to a stuck landing.
Well, we knew it was going to be tough. I would say certainly there were some good things that came out of today. Floor just has to be better. You know, we beat Stanford on vault. We beat them on bars. It was very close on beam. I think a half a tenth. And one of, Brittany, we didn't count Brittany's score, which is going to be a big score for us. Floor was the big difference. And so floor that's the thing that keeps going in my mind right now. Floor absolutely has to be better. And I thought we were in a better spot than last year when we started, and I do still think we are, but it still has to be better. So we're going to be tougher. We're going to learn from it. We're going to be tougher. We're going to be stronger. You're right, nobody likes to lose, and the least of all us. So we're going to go back and get to work this week, and we've got LSU on Friday. Second meet, no question, Kaylin Earls was sick as a dog, no pun intended, yesterday, and she came out and did very, very well on both beam and floor. So like I said, this will absolutely make us stronger, make us better for what's ahead of us.
Well, starting off on Friday, I mean, we had the highest row score that we've had in, 4 years or something like that. That's huge for us. We wanted to come out strong. We definitely did that. And then I know the scores didn't reflect it, but we know that we improved today. And it was the second meet in the weekend, and we were maybe a little tired, but we competed stronger than we did on Friday, and so we're really proud of that. I think most of our mistakes Friday were just those last-minute jitters getting out, and so we know that we got all those out. And today, I was so proud of the freshmen. I mean, Morgan's beam routine almost brought me to tears because I was just so proud of her. So.
I was very pleased with how the weekend went. It's not ideal to start out 0-2, but we made some improvements today from what we did on Friday, so I was pretty happy with that. We cleaned up more on beam, and so I was pretty pleased with that. It's just that experience part of it. We've got a lot of new people in the floor lineup, and so now that we've got 2 meets under our belt, I think we're going to go into that meet on Friday very confident. We have Monday off, so that's going to be a real rest day. And then we kind of get back into things on Tuesday. Wednesday's going to be a training day, and Thursday's going to be kind of a lighter day before the meet. But I think we're going to do pretty well because
ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Kopp and Katie Brazil with you here at Stegman Coliseum. 98-850 for Georgia, 98-625 for LSU. Terrific scores in that second rotation, and we are already underway here in rotation number 3. Ashlyn Broussard in the leadoff spot for Georgia on beam. One arm back handspring layout and a phenomenal start for Ashlyn on her series. Tell you what, the freshman being in on the leadoff spot, this is probably the single most crucial spot of any of the 24 that you could be in. Leadoff on beam, I feel like, sets the tone so much for a rotation that's based so much on momentum. And to put the weight of that on a freshman's shoulders, she has risen to the occasion thus far this season. Great side aerial, split jump.
Absolutely, and I got to give a shout out to Kristen Tanola right now because Ashlyn, her and I all went to the same gym back in Dallas. And Ashlyn, I mean, she just has that grace and that beauty every time you watch her. And she has a stuck landing in her first Stegman Coliseum beam routine. What a way to start off rotation number 3 for the Georgia Gym Dogs. Ashlyn Broussard, very well done. We did not get the chance to give you the rest of these starting lineups. Morgan Reynolds, another freshman, will be second. Mary Beth Box third. Brittany Rogers fourth. Lindsay Cheek fifth. And Kaylin Earls will be sixth. Leading off for LSU on floor exercise is Malia Mathis. Malia is such a powerful gymnast, as you're about to see. Her tumbling, unreal. This girl knows how to compete floor. So when I saw the floor lineup from LSU and I saw Malia Mathis is in the leadoff spot, that's how you know you've got some talent on floor exercise. Huge floor lineup. Going for her first pass. Round out back handspring, double layout, comes in a little short. That's going to be a small deduction. Great music, though. This is making Stegman rock. Yeah, we have cranked the volume in Stegman Coliseum up to the proverbial 11. Go home and take some ibuprofen. I can feel the desk vibrating. It's been pounding since we got here 3 hours ago. Second pass, front handspring step out to a double tuck. Beautifully done. Didn't look like they had any errors on that pass. Great control on the landing as well. Leap pass, switch side, Popa. Setting up for her third and final pass. Round off back handspring, double pike, and we have a fall. First fall of the night.
And so obviously LSU will look to drop that score and knock out their next 5, and it won't hold them back. Georgia, meanwhile, opening with a 9.775 for Ashlyn Broussard. The judges did not agree. We had one 9.7 and one 9.85. And sometimes that is bound to happen when you get a 10th and a half of separation.
Hey, that just comes with the sport of gymnastics.
Georgia leading off their beam rotation with 3 rookies, so to speak, 2 freshmen and a sophomore, Mary Beth Box, who before this year did not have any competition experience on beam. So the second of those freshmen, this is Morgan Reynolds, a freshman from Athens, Georgia. Front toss into a twiddle jump.
Morgan has got one of the most contagious smiles I have ever seen. This girl is happy all the time.
Back handspring layout, looking excellent right now. And we talked about Lindsay Cheek, hometown girl here from Athens. Morgan also from Athens, Georgia. We talked to both of them earlier this week, and those interviews will be on the Gym Dog Show this Wednesday at 2 on CSS. And they both just lit up talking about the chance to compete here in Stegman Coliseum. And for Morgan Reynolds, this is her first time competing as a gym dog in a building where she grew up coming to meets. And you just can't imagine how emotional that is.
You know it's exciting for her. And this girl has got the work ethic like nobody I've ever seen. She is the first one in the gym and the last one out. And so to see her nailing this beam routine right now, I know she's excited right now. Her adrenaline is pumping.
Great side summy. She has handled the most difficult elements of this routine quite well. Getting ready for her dismount, round off, double full. Great landing, great routine for the freshman Morgan Reynolds.
Look at that smile. So beautiful.
The first routine for the Athens native in Stegman Coliseum, and it's a great one. LSU leading off with that fall from Malia Mathis, a 9.15 that LSU will hope to shed. Jessie Jordan, Ashley Natt, Jessica Savona, Reagan Corville, and Lamencia Hall will round out the LSU floor order. This is Jessie Jordan.
And you know, starting out with a fall, we're really going to see the character of these LSU gymnasts come out, whether they can handle this pressure or whether they'll crack. Going for her first pass, big double pike. Bounce back, which will be a small deduction, but overall very powerful pass.
9.8 for Morgan Reynolds on beam. Building slightly on that opening 9.775 from Broussard.
Going for her second pass on floor. Front full, front layout, beautifully done. Didn't look like there were any deductions on that one. Great leap pass. I'm sure she feels pressure is on right now. She's tired. She's going for her third pass. Knows she needs to nail it. Back 1.5, front full, stuck.
She nailed it.
Yes, she did.
She needed to, and she did. Excellent finish.
What a competitor. Ending with that notorious tiger roar.
We got 2 down and 4 to go on each side. This is Mary Beth Box, younger sister of former gym dog and your former teammate, Marielle Box.
Mary Beth has been waiting a long time for this moment, and I am so excited she's competing in front of her home crowd. This girl has worked so hard this year, in the gym, out of the gym, and you're about to see a great beam routine. This girl is sharp. She knows how to compete. She's going to give you a good show.
Great tuck full. You know you're back in front of your home crowd when you get an ooh and ah on your mount.
Yeah.
It's a good sign. Back handspring layout. Oh boy.
She fought it though.
Yeah, unbelievable that was not a fall. She was way off and somehow just dug her toes in and stayed on the beam. Switch leap, straddle 3/4. Full turn. And now you have a mistake earlier in your beam routine. What's going through your mind right now as you try to dig yourself out of it?
You know, especially as a gymnast growing up, being a collegiate gymnast, you've just got to let the mistakes go. You know what? That skill's over. You got to move on and finish the rest of your routine because your team may need your score. And if you let it get to you, you could screw up the rest. And, you know, you've really just got to keep your mind straight, your mind tight.
Had a good front aerial. Her dismount now, round off 1.5, and a good finish. A little pop forward on the landing, but again, could have been a fall for Georgia and was not.
She's a fighter. She's stuck on that beam.
I think that's something that resonates with the coaches too. They see that, and I think they're impressed by that. It would have been easy to just pop off and finish after the fall. So will still be the score that Georgia will hope to drop. Meanwhile, LSU bouncing back nicely after the fall from Mathis. Jessie Jordan with a 9.825. And here is Ashley Nat. Freshman opened her night with a 9.9 on bars.
Ashley going for her first pass. Full in pike. Wow, that was big. Woo. Step back on that. She had a little bit too much power. Great choice of music, by the way. I'm loving this. Big 2.5 punch front. Wow. You don't see that much in college gymnastics. Ashley is really a great tumbler.
That was Courtney McCool's middle pass way back in the day.
Ashley setting up for her final pass. Round off back handspring, big double pike, beautiful finish. I tell you what, these Tigers really know how to bring it back up once they have a fall.
Absolutely, and just a phenomenal floor team. As I mentioned, 49-4 for LSU on floor in their season opener at home, and they've had two good ones after the opening fall from Mathis. Mary Beth Box, a 9.7. And here is Brittany Rogers. Rogers had a fall on Sunday at Stanford, so looking for a little bit of a bounce back. And in fact, Georgia as a team has not hit 6 beam routines yet this season. Cat leap, switch leap, split quarter combination.
Good start to the routine. Very solid.
And it was her new series that tripped her up on Sunday. See how she handles it here. Full twisting back handspring, and another fall for Brittany Rogers. And we talked about this, Katie, obviously you were not with us on the road. We talked about this last week at Stanford. The reason for that new combination, it used to be just a full twisting back handspring, and she did a back handspring layout full dismount. You don't get the connection bonus on the dismount anymore, so she had to alter that series, and obviously just some growing pains falling 2 out of the first 3 routines and just making that adjustment.
You're right, but Brittany is a competitor. You know what? Even though she has fallen twice, she's going to go back in the gym first day of practice, and she is not going to let that happen again.
And I'm sure it is gratifying for her to hear the nice ovation on the Rogers. And now getting ready for her dismount. Back handspring layout full, stuck landing.
Very beautiful finish.
And the percentage of stuck landings after falls just at skyrocket. Once you're not thinking about the landing anymore, it seems like you nail it every time.
I really think that's the key to gymnastics. Just don't think about what you're doing. Just do it.
So now LSU a chance to recapture a little bit of momentum here. Georgia will have to count a 9-7, then had a fall. Nat, meanwhile, builds on Jordan's score, gets a 9.85, and this is Jessica Savona up 4th for the Tigers.
Jessica going for her first pass. Round off, back 1.5, step out to a double back, beautifully done. Huge first pass. You know, as we get deeper in this LSU floor lineup, tumbling is going to continue to increase.
Oh, yeah. Just E-level first passes. We saw a double layout was the first pass of the night from Mathis. And
you know it's going to be big.
You're going to see one from Lamencia Hall in a while.
Huge half in, half out.
Yeah, it is phenomenal to watch. And you know what? You know, so many times the conversation steers toward you give up some artistry to have tumbling. And I think that LSU has found a really good combination of both. They play to their strengths. They've got big, powerful gymnastics, and they showcase that with the great tumbling. But, you know, I think they're able to bring the right amount of artistry as well. It's a, you know, floor is interesting in that way because it does require you to have the total package.
Absolutely. You've got to dance, you've got to tumble. Jessica setting up for her third pass of the routine. Round off back handspring, double pike. I tell you what, they are not going to make another mistake. This is really amazing.
Yeah, LSU really starting to light it up on floor. That's got a nice New Orleans jazz tinge to that music that I'm sure plays well at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center.
It might sound familiar because it's Kat Heyer's old music.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. Maybe she wants to be a gym dog.
Back on beam now, and again, you talk about the mental acuity needed to compose yourself and follow a fall. I've got a funny story I'll tell after this routine from Lindsay Cheek. Full turn, off to a good start. Back handspring layout, excellent.
So solid. I really think beam is where Cheek shines, especially.
Huge switch leap. It's just enormous. Week in, week out, that looks the same. (9-9), by the way, for Savona.
Big floor routine.
Side aerial, excellent.
Great.
No movement at all. And the moonwalk to the delight of 10,000 fans here in Stegman Coliseum.
That crowd goes crazy.
Switch leap, straddle quarter.
Big leap pass. This girl is the epitome of consistency.
Cat leap, gainer full, stuck landing.
Stuck landing for Cheek.
Lindsay Cheek delivers another big one here at home. She had a 9-9 on vault, a 9-9-2-5 on bars, and we'll see what she's got here on beam.
Absolutely unbelievable. That smile on her face right now just says it all.
All right, so now my story here from Sunday afternoon in Stanford. It's good, I promise. So we're interviewing Lindsay Cheek after Brittany Rogers fell, after the meet's done. Brittany Rogers had a fall, as I mentioned, at Stanford, and we're interviewing Lindsay Cheek, and I asked the question, similar to what I'm going to ask her probably in another hour here, is, you know, just tell us about getting up on the beam and following that fall. You know, what did you need to do? And she just looked and said, I had no idea that she had absolutely no idea that Brittany Rogers fell. And that's it wasn't like the athlete thing that you're supposed to say. She was genuinely surprised. I've never seen someone with less awareness of what's going on around her, and I mean that as a compliment.
You know, you really got, she's one of those people that just has to stay in her zone throughout the meets, and you know, it obviously does her well.
9.875 for Cheek. Meanwhile, we have Reagan Corville,
who had a huge first pass with a double Arabian. You heard kind of a gasp from the crowd when they saw that. Big double pike to finish the routine. Gorgeous. She is just a stunning gymnast all around.
She is. She is. She's got potential NCAA all-around champion in her future. And only a junior to boot.
She has really taken this LSU team to new heights.
Yeah, it's a great find there. Nice when they're in state. It was tough to tell for me anyway because the LSU team is right here on this near line. I couldn't tell if she stepped out on that double Arabian.
It looked like she did take a step out.
So we'll see if there's that 1/10 neutral deduction when we get her score. And now to finish up for Georgia, crucial position now for Kaylin Earls. Georgia with a hit routine here can avoid counting a fall.
And if you want anybody in this anchor position, it is Kaylin Earls.
Back handspring layout.
Gorgeous. Day in and day out, it is just like that.
Oh my gosh. 9-7 and a 9.95 from the two judges. 2.5 tenths of separation on the score. That'll frustrate coaches.
Oh yeah. Coaches, gymnasts, fans, because they don't understand.
And I think they're going to go talk about it. So as that's going on, Kaylin Earls with a side aerial. Good full turn.
looking very solid so far.
She had a fall in the season opener at Oklahoma, bounced back with a great beam routine at Stanford just 42 hours later.
That fall was so uncharacteristic of her.
Kaylin gearing up for her dismount, checks herself at the end of the beam, round off double tuck, step back on the landing, but Georgia will get to drop that fall from Brittany Rogers, and Kaylin Earls finishes up what actually turns out to be a nice beam set for Georgia.
Those girls really picked up Brittany after that fall. It's amazing how they really came together as a team. That's what people like to see.
Still have not seen a score issued for Corville. Again, 2.5 tenths of separation, and the judges talking things over. Typically what happens there is a judge sees a compositional deduction or something that affects the start value. It's very tough to find 2.5 tenths of separation without a start value discrepancy. So they'll make sure they're on the same page, and we'll see what this works out to be.
Absolutely. When you have 2.5 tenths of
I've never seen a 9.95 and a 9.7.
Yeah.
I've seen 2.5 tenths from maybe a 9.45 to a 9.7. You see something in there where there's big deductions, and it's a question of how much to take. But
it doesn't make sense. You know somebody missed something, apparently.
Yeah, so we will see what this ends up being, and it will be a little extra weight for Lamencia Hall in the anchor position for LSU on floor.
Who has got a fantastic routine. I love watching this girl on floor. She knows how to sell herself and her routine like nobody's business.
It is a thing to watch. And I'll tell you what, one of the moments being away from Stegman Coliseum where I got absolute chills was watching Lamencia Hall and the way that the crowd reacts to her in Baton Rouge. It's unbelievable. It really is.
This girl is so passionate about gymnastics, and that is what you love to see. You can just see it in her eyes and her face in everything that she does while she's competing.
That was a 1/10 neutral deduction as well for Corville for stepping out on that double Arabian first pass.
Lamencia's got some of the biggest tumbling you will see in college gymnastics today. This girl is a thrill to watch. She gets into her routine.
9.85 the score for Kaylin Earls, by the way. And here is Lamencia Hall.
Going for her first pass. Round off back handspring. Huge double layout. It's like she's on a trampoline. It's really incredible. I would just love to see how the crowd reacts to this at home.
I mean, just the huge leaps way above 180 on both of those splits. And everything, she just does it well.
She has got springs in her legs. Going for her second pass. Front handspring, front full, front layout. Excellent. No deduction whatsoever. Little throwback music. Can see her team really getting into it on the sidelines. And this is the infamous Lamencia Hall music right now. Going for her third pass. Round off back handspring, big double tuck. Little short coming in. She had to take a step forward. Not a big deduction at all, though. That little head bob at the end.
And she's had a perfect 10 in her career.
Rightfully so.
And she's probably not done.
Oh, no. You're going to see big things from that girl this year.
So it ended up being a 9.725 from Corville, and actually that would be, if both judges kept their scores, it would have averaged out to a 9.825, 1/10 deduction for stepping out. So neither judge was able to see what the other said. There was no need to change any scores or alter anything, and it ends up being a 9.725 from Corville, but rather controversially.
Yeah.
And Lamencia Hall, we will await her score before taking our final break of the evening. It was a 49 even for Georgia on beam, 9.775 from Broussard, 9.8 from Morgan Reynolds, 9.7 from Mary Beth Box. The 9.3 for Brittany Rogers was dropped. 9.875 was the high score from Lindsey Cheek, and 9.85 for Kaylin Earls. It is a 9.925 for Lamencia, or excuse me, 9.875. 9.875. We had a 9.85 and a 9.9, so a 9.875 for Lamencia Hall. LSU picks up almost 2/10, and we're going to the final rotation, separated by just half a tenth.
It's getting heated now.
Oh boy, here we go. So LSU cuts way into Georgia's big lead from the midway point, scoring a 49-175 on floor, 49 even for beam, and Georgia's going to have to go to floor, where they have struggled a little bit through the first 2 meets of the season, and bring this one home.
They're going to do it, though. They shine on floor, and in front of their home crowd, you know they're going to have so much power right now.
We shall see. We will take one final break. We gave Kat Hires a flip cam this weekend and turned her loose, and she gave us this behind-the-scenes look at traveling with the Georgia Gym Dogs, and then we're coming back for Rotation 4. You're watching live video coverage of Georgia Gymnastics on GeorgiaDogs.com from IMG.
Gym Dogs beginning their trip to Oklahoma and Lauren spilled her coffee. Typical freshman.
So what's happening right now?
Well, we just got to Oklahoma. It's beautiful outside, nice and foggy, and we are currently waiting for my bag, and Tana's bag, and Anna's bag, and Kevin Kopp's bag.
But is that going to be a problem for the Gym Dogs?
Oh, no. You know, we're not fazed by anything. I've got my lantern, I've got my grips, that's all I need. You know, I'll just walk around with all my competition warm-ups.
Good to go.
Tell us, what are we doing today?
We are going to check out what it looks like and do some good visual routines so that we're ready to go tonight and just look at all the equipment and feel comfortable with our surroundings.
Give me your handshake. Hey.
And I said, well, I don't want fine. I want either good or bad. Just tell me good or bad, but not fine, because unless it's, hey, you look fine, you know, that's a different story. But not, it's fine.
So what do you want?
That's mediocre. I don't want mediocre.
No, but you want...
I want to look good. I want to look fine.
You don't want to look fine. You want to look fine. All right, baby, tell me where we are.
We are at the Sooner Mall, and we're shopping.
Very nice, Ash. You look like a bug. So, Dee, are you the new dedicated makeup duo in place for
I hope
Sailor?
so, if everyone likes it.
Let's see. Let's see.
Close.
Close. Oh, it looks so beautiful. You look beautiful, Brand.
She does such a good job.
It's me, Jen! Alright, Ash, so we're on our way to our first meet against Oklahoma. How are you feeling, little freshie?
Can we start?
Oh yeah, and what events are you doing?
Vault, beam, and floor.
Sweet! Well, you are looking beautiful. You feel good. You look good. You feel good. You do good, right?
Right.
So we just got back to the hotel from our meet in Oklahoma, which was awesome. I think it was a good first start. You think?
It was a good start. We did awesome.
I think so. But Brandon and I are ready to take off our hair and makeup. Take off our hair. Take out our hair. Take off our makeup and get some beauty sleep before we head to Stanford early in the morning.
We're so excited.
Okay, so Brandy, did you choose to sit in between the two coaches, Dana and Jay? Jay, say hi.
Hello. Yes, you made me think
Yes.
of it.
No, that's not true. I'm trying to get in their big races and make sure things good.
Bye, Oklahoma. Hello, Stanford.
Not yet.
Hello, California. Beth, we just made it to the airport at San Jose, and what has happened to you now?
I have lost my bag. It's not here. Nowhere to be found.
Well, you know, it seems that we never have this problem, but it's happened twice now
But
in
it's
a row.
okay.
It is, right? You're not going to be deterred.
No.
You've got all your stuff you need right in that red little bag. You're good to go, right? Hi, Lo.
Hi.
How's your first away trip going?
Oh my gosh, it's going swell. I just love everybody.
You love everybody?
Yes, I do.
That's good.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is deafening here inside Stegman Coliseum. It got loud there during the break. We are ready to go for rotation number 4, but some important business first. We had a score change that came in after the rotation ended for Georgia. Ashlyn Broussard, we originally had her as a 9.775. That score was changed to a 9.85 for Ashlyn Broussard to open things up.
Big.
So, you know, decent routine turned into a very good routine there in the leadoff spot. So Georgia actually went 49.075 on beam, and consequently, well, now they've changed it again. So they changed it to make it a 147.925 for Georgia, and now they've taken a quarter of a tenth off. So we have had scoring changes aplenty, and we are going to obviously stay until we get it right on the air. Meanwhile, we will start on beam with LSU. This is Michelle Gauthier.
Gorgeous dance so far by Michelle. Going for her flight series. Back handspring, back layout, step out. Very well done. No issues on that. Leap pass, switch leap, tuck 3/4, little bobble on that. That's going to be a slight deduction from her score. Nice Sassone into a gainer back layout step out. Very solid. Setting up for her dismount. Round off. 1.5. She fights for that stick. A little leg separation on the dismount, but overall solid start off routine for LSU.
Huge ovation here for Kaylin Earls. Okay, we've had it changed again. 9.825 for Ashlyn Broussard on beam. That is her third score of the night. First pass for Kaylin Earls is a good one, and she is underway with that student section cheering her on. So Georgia entered this rotation. I just want to clear the deck because I want to make sure that folks at home know what's going on. Georgia entered this rotation leading by 1/10 exactly, 147.9 to 147.8. So LSU has to make up 1/10 on beam to tie. Any more than that, they win. Any less than that, Georgia wins. Second pass for Kaylin, big double pike.
Huge.
Well done.
Kaylin has got such a great routine this year, obviously choreographed by Cassidy McComb. And if you look closely, you can see her winks throughout the routine. And that is honestly my favorite part because she's got this adorable little face and she gets into this routine and I love it. You can see the team getting into it on the sideline there as well.
Kaylin's last pass, double tuck. Good landing, good finish, and the crowd loves it.
I'll tell you what, that is a great sight. A couple fans standing up, giving her an ovation.
And this is the first time, obviously being at home, you go from beam to floor. Kaylin is the anchor on beam. She's first up on floor. When it's reversed, she's got a lot of time in between those two, but it's a quick turnaround, and she still had a great level of energy and a great way to start for Georgia. Michelle Gauthier opened with a 9.7, and this is Jessica Savona in the second spot for the Tigers.
Jessica obviously having a great floor routine earlier tonight. Setting up for her first skill. Back handspring, step out, back layout. Very solid. No issues with that tonight. Going for her leap pass, switch leap, back tuck. Little bobble right there on the ends, but overall very good.
9.825 the score for Kaylin Earls. Fine opening score for Georgia on floor.
Great leap pass by Jessica. Full turn solid. Oh, she's doing her own moonwalk. I'm just gonna say that I like cheeks better. Round off, double pike dismount. You don't see that very much.
That's a phenomenal level of difficulty there.
That was huge, very difficult. Great routine for LSU.
And LSU needs some big beam scores here if they're going to make up that 10th of separation, and Georgia needs to execute probably to a level that we have not seen them do so far on floor. Kat Heyer is up second.
Two seniors up in first and second on floor. It's awesome to see.
Kind of the opposite of beam where you've got those two freshmen. Kat ready for her first pass. Round off back handspring double pike. Ton of air.
Huge.
Fortunately, kind of bounced out of that one. Came in with her chest down a little bit. 9.75 for Savona. Good leaps from Kat over in the near side corner.
Nicely done.
Front handspring, full front layout. Second pass there for Kat.
Cassidy did such a great job with all these routines this year. They look awesome.
This is a really fun one, too.
It's your favorite, isn't it?
Kat has always had...
I heard you say that.
Yeah, she's always had really fun music, and I like this routine a lot. I think she plays it very well. And we said on the air last week, this is actually the same music as her high school senior year floor routine. Finishing with a double tuck. Great third pass for Kat Heyers.
Great routine. Oh, look at that smile on her face.
She should be thrilled about that one. The crowd getting really loud for that third pass, getting very quiet to hear the end of the music, kind of brings it to a hush, and then big ovation for her. So Georgia, with those two seniors, as you mentioned, Earls and Heyers, off to a fine start on floor. Absolutely. LSU now third on beam after a 9.7 and a 9.75. This is Lamencia Hall.
Lamencia obviously having the floor routine that caught everyone's attention in Stegman tonight. Big switch side to start off the beam routine.
And then the amazing thing is gets out there on beam and is a reliable competitor as well.
Absolutely. Going for her flight series, back handspring, back layout. Little wobble. Honestly, from this view, it looked a little crooked, so I'm surprised she stayed on. Full turn. Nicely done.
9.8 for Heyers after the 9.825 for Kaylin Earls.
Switch leap strato quarter for Lamencia. Getting a little bonus points right there. Fixing to close out this beam routine for tonight. She has a huge dismount as well. Round off, back double tuck, small step on the landing. Very solid.
Good routine, and LSU, though, is going to need some really big scores trying to play catch-up in that final rotation. You're going to need to see some 9.9s, and they've got plenty of talent here with Nat, Corville, and Jordan as their final three. That's a good trio to do some catching up. And now the Athens native with her first floor routine in Stegman Coliseum, Morgan Reynolds for Georgia. First pass, front handspring Rudy, immediate back layout step out. 9.8 for Lamencia Hall with a 9.9 from one judge and a 9.7 from another.
Another 2/10 discrepancy.
Crowd has gotten into this one, clapping along. Double pike.
Nice.
That gave her fits in Oklahoma, but she handles it beautifully here in Stegman.
If you just look at Morgan's face throughout this routine, she is smiling the entire time. She has a ball competing floor.
Great switch side Popa there. Shushanova.
I remember watching Cassidy teach this routine to Morgan months and months ago in preseason, and it just looks fantastic now.
Reagan setting up for her third and final pass. Back 1.5, front leg.
Wow, great routine.
Easily the best of her young career.
She's going to be happy with this score.
And she should be. A terrific one for the freshman. And this will be a night for her to remember. Her first time competing in Stegman Coliseum as a Georgia Gym Dog. That's something I'm sure you hang on with you for the rest of your life. As I mentioned, a 9.8 from Hall, so we've had a 9.7, 9.75, 9.8. LSU hopes they keep building in half a tenth increments. This is Ashley Nat.
Ashley starting out with a beautiful front aerial. Full turn, flawless. Such a graceful gymnast to watch.
Yeah, she's been very impressive. 9.9 and a 9.85 so far tonight. Looking good so far on beam.
Tricky leap combination there, switch leap to switch side. Beautifully done though. Her flight series coming up soon. Back handspring step out, back handspring layout. Little wobble right there. Lifted up one of her legs, but she fought, stayed on the beam.
The crowd is cheering because a 9.9 has just come up for Morgan Reynolds in her home debut. And meanwhile, a phenomenal dismount there from Ashley Nat. Both teams throwing great gymnastics here.
For the University of Georgia Gym Dogs.
They're not giving an inch.
Mary Beth Box.
And now making her 2014 debut, Mary Beth Box. She was very impressive in limited action last year on floor. In fact, she competed twice and had 2 9.9s. Earned her way into the lineup here after sitting out on floor last weekend. And here she goes.
This girl can tumble.
Both of them were on the road, actually, Kentucky and NC State. So this is her first home floor routine in Stegman Coliseum.
You know she's excited.
Oh, a sky-high first pass. How about that? Big double pike.
Her and Marielle, I swear, those girls can tumble like no other. And I know Marielle's watching right now and is so proud of Mary Beth.
Ashley Nat scores a 9.8 for LSU. Mary Beth Box in the corner, a little dance before her second pass. Round off.
Huge
double tuck.
Second pass.
Great, very clean landing, too, with all that height.
See the crowd starting to get into it.
Yeah, I think it has really just brought something out of these performances that was missing on the road last weekend and has turned a good performance into a great one here. Mary Beth, her final pass, round off back 1.5, front layout. And she could be very proud of that one.
Absolutely. Gorgeous routine from Mary Beth. So happy for her to finally get out in front of the eyes of Stegman and do such a great floor routine.
She's been waiting for it for over a year, and she made it count. Mary Beth Box with a terrific floor routine for Georgia. 2 to go here on beam, 2 to go for Georgia on floor. A nip and tuck finish here in Stegman Coliseum. Reagan Corville up on the beam now for LSU.
Reagan so far looking very solid on beam. Really confident as always. Standing Arabian. Wow, I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Good gosh, that is impressive.
She had a little bobble, so there will be a deduction. However, that skill, it's very tricky. It's hard to do. And you know, to still see that at the college level is very impressive for her. Big sheep jump. Leap pass, switch leap, split quarter, excuse me.
9.8 is the score for Mary Beth Box, so Georgia, everything has been 9.8 or above.
That's what we need. Reagan with a front aerial. Little pause between that Sisson and a gainer dismount, stuck landing. Just a little bobble on that standing Arabian. Overall, solid routine.
Two routines left for Georgia, a pair of sophomores, Brittany Rogers and Brandy J, trying to bring it home. Georgia with a slight lead at this moment.
You wouldn't want anyone else in these last two anchor spots. These two sophomores are unbelievable competitors, especially gymnasts on floor.
Brittany to open her season a 9.8 and a 9.7 on floor. She's been in the all-around every meet so far this year for the Gym Dogs, getting ready for her first pass. 2.5.
Beautifully done.
And took that step coming forward, dragged that back foot just a tiny bit. We'll see her work on controlling that as it goes. A very difficult opening pass.
You don't see that much in college gymnastics because it is such a technical skill.
Second pass for Brittany. Round off back 1.5, front layout. Very clean landing, very good second pass. 9.875 meanwhile for Reagan Corville. Highest beam score of the night for LSU.
Brittany's really able to show off her grace in this routine with the choreography. She's absolutely stunning.
9.825 for Brittany Rogers would clinch the meet for Georgia and finishes with a huge double pike. She may have done it.
Huge routine for Brittany.
And a well-deserved ovation from this Stegman Coliseum crowd. She's got a big smile on her face. Terrific floor routine from the sophomore. And we've got one to go. Brandy J will finish up the night for Georgia, and she may get to compete in a pressure-free situation.
That just shows what a great competitor Brittany is, coming back from a fall on beam to do an outstanding floor routine that the team needs. You know, that's a huge testament to her character.
And Georgia, their first two meets of the year on floor, a 49.025 at Oklahoma and then a 48.675 on floor without a fall in their most recent meet at Stanford. So they have, by leaps and bounds, improved this week in training. And now to bring the night home for LSU, this is Jessie Jordan.
Jessie starting with her flight series, stuck back handspring layout. Very solid right now. Switch leap, straddle quarter, very well done. She looks so confident up there right now. Full turn. Side semi small bobble. She held herself together though. Routine coming to a close. Round off, 1.5 dismount. Small step backwards. Overall, very good score to finish LSU up on beam.
And they'll be proud of this performance, and I'll tell you what, this is going to be a road score that they're going to carry with them potentially to the end of the season in their RQS. So this is a big night for them, but on this night, Georgia with a 9.85 from Brittany Rogers has clinched a win over LSU, and Brandy J will get to finish it up in style. Now, she has no idea. She doesn't have the Excel spreadsheet in front of her, so.
If I yelled at her, I don't think she'd hear me.
First pass for Brandy J. Big double tuck.
Huge.
And again, she's got so much power on that. I think she's bounced out of everyone this year, but she's got power to spare. And I know that everyone at home is saying, when are we going to see the full out for her to start?
This girl knows how to tumble.
Oh, yeah.
She did her full out at sneak peek, and it was flawless. So I know it's coming.
It's coming, just like that 1.5 is coming at some point, probably. 9.85, by the way, for Jessie Jordan. Home crowd clapping along as Brandy sets up in the corner. Second pass, front handspring Rudy. Immediate layout into that double stag. Big combination with a lot of power.
Just so much power. Brandy is just an unbelievable tumbler. You know, floor hasn't always been Brandy's favorite to compete. she has really come such a long way.
I was saying last weekend, she has turned into a performer as well.
She really has.
Finishing up with a double pike, and she sticks it.
Woo!
Brandy J brings home the win for Georgia with a stuck landing.
Wow. Just the cherry on top of this night. Absolutely outstanding.
And Georgia does something that they could not do in 5 tries in 2013. They register a win over the LSU Tigers, and it is a big one tonight with a 197 plus score for Georgia here in 2014.
Wow. The team worked so hard for this all fall, all preseason already. It is so great for them to get this win tonight.
And we are waiting, of course, on Brandy's final score, so we can give you the team final scores here and say goodnight.
It's going to be big.
Again, Georgia already up over a 197. I think it is a 9-9. It is a 9-9 for Brandy J. How about that finish? With a season high, Georgia goes 49-275 on floor. And in just a moment, we will have the final scores for you. Again, want to thank you so much for joining us here on Friday night. We have a rare Monday afternoon home meet. So if you're working or if you're not working, get your laptop out, get your computer fired up. 2 p.m. on Monday. Georgia and Iowa right here at Stegman Coliseum. Katie and I will be back together for live video coverage beginning at 2 p.m. And then next Friday, we are on the road for our 5th meet in 14 days to open the season. The Gym Dog Tour rolls on to Gainesville, Florida for a clash against the preseason #1 Florida Gators. That's next Friday at 7. We will have live audio on the road. Your final scores tonight. Georgia gets their first win of 2014, and they do it with their first 197 score of the year. 197-175 for Georgia, 196-825 for LSU, and the Gym Dogs knock off the #2 team in the nation with a thrilling performance here at home.
That's how Georgia does.
Katie, I know it's got to be a little bit of a weird experience to transition from being out there, being a gymnast for the past 4 years, to being in the broadcaster's booth, but thank you so much for sitting in. I'm looking forward to a year of calling gymnastics with you.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun.
And hey, you're undefeated. You're 1-0, so we'll keep you around. We'll bring you back on Monday, I guess.
Yeah, it was all me.
I want to thank our entire crew tonight as well, the absolute best in the business, our director, Dana McGaw, our cameraman station throughout the Coliseum up on the catwalk today. We've got Elijah Gallus, Danny Bryan, and former Gym Dog Krista Tonella as well. I want to thank our executive producer, Mike Bilbo, of course, our sports information director, Ben Beatty. My partner is Katie Brazil. On behalf of all of us here at GeorgiaDogs.com, this is Kevin Kopp saying thank you so much for watching. Your final score tonight, Georgia 197-175, LSU 196-875. Good night from Stegman Coliseum.